Hi, Amy.
Abby.
We just watched Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 11. I know you're not feeling well today, so we'll try to be gentle. But do you have
Sure.
any initial thoughts?
I thought it was, maybe it was because I'm not feeling well. I just didn't find it entertaining. I think I'm just so over everyone.
Mm.
I was excited to see the new couple, and then that excitement dissipated quite quickly.
The same reaction.
Yeah.
I am so suspicious of this couple. So very, very suspicious, which I will share with you later on when we come to it. For now, though, let's do our 1 and 2 before we start. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé, honestly. Oh, and there was a lovely comment in our Spotify comments section this week from Blue Dog, who was trying to give us a good review, but Spotify doesn't allow that to happen. They only let you rate things, but not comment on them at the same time, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give a heartfelt thank you to Blue Dog for your wonderful comments. And yes.
Thank you.
So we begin with Lisa and Daniel this week. I know you're about to say something, but I just want to jump in with this. I loved how Lisa, talking about the other woman still, finds herself blocked by that person, which she writes off as or rationalizes by saying, well, she's jealous of us, and that's why.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I don't believe that is the case.
I don't think
I do
so.
not. I have a feeling that perhaps Lisa was pestering this person a little bit more than she enjoyed, could tolerate.
Maybe she just got irritated with the fact that you did keep bothering her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really don't think people block you out of jealousy of your relationship, especially if this woman doesn't want to have anything to do with your boyfriend, fiance. It's a fiance now. So, okay, that was utter stupidity. And then even better was going to go see the king of the Igbo tribe with Lisa actually genuinely expecting there to be a castle or palace or grand mansion of some kind, to which I just shook my head and was like, oh, Lisa, so much for your research into Daniel's culture and everything about Nigeria. We know about this. The kings are just regular people. The royal family, we know about this from Emily and
Kobe.
Exactly. He said that he's a member of the royal family. Or a royal family. There are many, many royal families. Not that he's from Nigeria. He's from Cameroon. Kobe, that is.
Similar in culture? Question mark?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not all too familiar, but I think, we know the basics. But I also loved it when they were in the car and she was talking about, just being nervous and asking a ton of questions. And Daniel told her to just calm down.
Always a favorite. I don't think we missed any single reference to a calm down.
I don't think so.
Anyway, they go to this house, which is not a palace, nor a castle, nor a mansion even. And I absolutely adored what the king was wearing. And I think I want this outfit for myself. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. It was very reminiscent of the king in, where's that movie? Welcome to America. I think it's with
that's an oldie. Yeah, an oldie from the 80s.
Exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah. The lion's head stuffed animal thing pressed up against his chest, very large, was adorable.
I wanted one of those citrus sliced pillows.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I really want one.
Weren't there watermelons on the couch that they were sitting on? Watermelon cushions that were kind of triangular?
I didn't catch those. I just caught like the circular one.
Okay. Maybe I'm misremembering, but some very interesting decor. It was highly, highly entertaining. I absolutely loved it. And then when Lisa gets introduced to the king and he makes her kneel in front of him, I thought that was fabulous. Like, let's absolutely bring this white woman to her knees and make a fool of her, make her feel really, really foolish because she knows nothing about the culture. She hasn't actually researched it. What she's doing is considered disrespectful. So it was my guilty pleasure that I that I enjoyed seeing Lisa in these circumstances. I don't know if that's wrong, but that is what happened.
I I had similar thoughts, especially when she laughed and he admonished her for it.
Mhm.
And then obviously I caught on to the fact that it was very likely nervous laughter, knowing who she is and how she behaves. But seeing Daniel's face, his uncle's face, just how utterly embarrassed they were. And then when the king calls her up again and his uncle leans forward, he's like, don't laugh again. Oh, what a faux pas, Lisa.
Right. It was so wonderful. I also enjoyed the fact that the king called himself an oracle and a prophet, which is fantastic because
That reminds me that I actually I found an article online that talks about his history, and it does say that he is a king and he comes from a long line, at least his father and his grandfather. I just sent you the article, so but
yes. Okay, thank you.
because I was really curious to see, like, is this something that Daniel and his uncle had put on, like some sort of grandiose scenario where, everyone is just made to, I don't know, make Daniel look more important than what he is, and just another way to just to paint the picture for her that, this is the man that you want to marry and don't run away because, he's a liar. He's too important. So I wanted to confirm that he did have that position in their society. So I was kind of surprised to see
Okay.
that confirmed, but I'm glad that
That
they did have some information on that, so it wasn't just a big production. I mean, maybe it still was and he was in on it, but he does have that position.
okay. So what I was saying earlier was that I love the fact that he
Right.
calls himself a prophet and an oracle, which is very, very humble of him. So if you already know because you're a prophet and you're an oracle and you know the future, what just tell us what's going to happen because, you know, it will really shorten things up for us and make it a lot less of a waste of our time. But no, he doesn't. I loved the way that when he first saw her and he asked to see her palms, there was no explanation of what he was actually doing. But then she did the unfortunate laugh and was sent away because that was a huge, huge mistake for her to do, a big transgression. And then when she goes back the second time after Uncle says, don't laugh, and then the king says, I want to see you laugh, she's just caught in this dilemma. She doesn't know what to do. Do I laugh? Do I not laugh? Should I laugh? Should I not laugh? Is this a trap? And then eventually she does. Okay, so everything seems well and good. But again, if you are an oracle, if you are an all knowing prophet, what's up with these shenanigans? You should already know if she's a good person or not, if this is a good match or not.
Well, he says at the beginning, "No, this isn't a good
Yeah.
match. This is not gonna work." And then after the laughter, it did lighten the mood, especially when, she caught on and she laughed with them. But I really wanted to know what the pendulum necklace was saying because you did see it move, but he
Mm-hmm.
didn't explain that. And then
Mm-mm-mm.
the items that he was rolling, he didn't explain that either. And I was really interested in that and disappointed that he didn't explain any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also thought that maybe he does have a really good sense of humor because it's like, I want to see you dance.
That was also good.
Yes, she dances very well. I bless this marriage. What?
Yes. And again, this is problematic because as an oracle, he should already know that she has been married 5 times and she is, in fact, still married and that she was married to women, which is not permitted in their tribe. So, not doing very well at his job, I think. Changing the tune halfway through because she laughed and danced to a yes for the blessing when it was a no initially was quite confusing.
Yeah, what changed? We don't have enough information to
No,
make that assessment
no, but I am very suspicious.
and entertained.
Yes, simultaneously. May we read on? Emma and Ziad. Oh no. Sad music. Cue the violins. We know that she's just told Ziad that she was engaged before to a Moroccan man while he was chatting with her online. And his reaction is quite severe. He says that he doesn't know her. That's fair. You really don't. It's been such a short period of time and he can't trust her. Also, fair. she has been lying to him quite a bit about her past.
And she can't comprehend this. What do you mean? It was in the past. It has nothing to do with what we're doing now, does it not?
Yeah, it's very convenient this way that she approaches the problem of him saying that he's leaving and that he doesn't want to have anything to do with her anymore by saying, I forgave you for the way that you were still talking to other women online. So why can't you forgive me this one mistake? It's not really one mistake, which is just a technicality. It's his feelings. It's how he is feeling humiliated right now. And because she has been in such a fantasy land, living in her own mind since she met him, and definitely since she arrived in Morocco, not looking at any of the red flags at all. Now, finally, the reality is setting in. She didn't see that Ziad has an enormous ego. He's very, very caught up in the patriarchal structure. He can't allow for a woman to have her own thoughts, her own past, her own feelings and desires, power. That's a big one. We saw the way that he kept shutting her down. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to know about that. Not wanting to hear the truth. And yes, I mean, she was culpable. She lied to him. He also used her for sex, pretended that it didn't happen, but he was definitely getting sex out of this relationship. However, much like Lisa, Emma comes off as a fool in this episode because,
lightly.
yeah.
And then for her to go chasing after him, okay, first of all, I did laugh when he called a ride and he was just going to leave her. It was like, I love it when people do that. Just like, peace out. I'm completely done with you. Goodbye. What is she going to do? It's not, I mean, I'm sure production would help her get to where she needed to go. But like, if this wasn't on a show, what would she have done? She doesn't seem smart enough to know, she doesn't seem resourceful enough to be able to get it there. So I thought that was really funny that he's like, I'm so done with you that I'm just going to leave you in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes chasing after him. And then she's like, well, what about the sex? Are you going to tell them that you had or that we had sex? And she brought it up like, what, 3 or 4 times? Or she said the word sex like 3 or 4 times. And you could
Mm-hmm.
see he almost went white. He's just like, you need to stop talking immediately. He takes off his mic pack and then just like tries to run away, but she stops him.
Yeah.
Twice. Let this man go, dude. Let him go.
Yeah, the calling out of the sex happening is such a desperate, absolutely, but it's such a manipulative way to try to get him to stay with her. Like, I'm going to tell everybody that we had sex unless you come back to me and we continue on in this relationship. Like, how horrifically coercive it is of her to do that. It's almost like emotional blackmail. Like, you think that this is going to endear you to him? That he's going to think, oh, that's right. I will come back to you now because you're going to tell people that we had sex and I don't want people to know that because it's not considered good behavior in my culture. What?
Didn't follow her thought process on that one. It was very, what? You know that he would never be able to recover like socially from you yelling that out loud.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing for you to have said it to production on film.
On film.
And then him seeing it later, but to say it to his face on film in public, he's not going to be able to recover from that. So now he has to completely cut you off and he's going to have to try to save face.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way he's going to be able to do that is to, spin it as you're an absolutely evil woman and an evil seductress.
Yes.
And
I
it's all
fell
gonna
into your
be
trap. I'm still innocent. I was wronged. I totally believe that would be his argument. And I've no doubt that he would continue on totally unscathed because he could just portray her as this evil temptress. But for Emma herself, being left alone in the desert, I didn't find myself feeling any sympathy towards her, mostly because she dug herself into this crazy situation. This was her own choosing to lie to him from the start. So she created the problem. And on top of that, I really feel like this is a rebound relationship. Like, we know that she was talking to Ziad while she was still trying to figure things out with her ex, to whom she was engaged. And I think that this is going to be the point at which she goes, okay, well, now I'll try to get back together with Mohammed, the ex. Since I'm here, I might as well.
But she's still got 2 weeks left. What else is she gonna do with her time?
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this last week or the week before that she paid for everything.
Hmm.
So she's already got 2 weeks left at, whatever hotel or place. So,
Yeah.
alright.
Is there anything else you'd like to comment on these two lovely people, or shall we read
Nope.
on? All right, then let's go. Aviva and Stig. Oh my God, this is even better than.
The last one.
Mm, yes. So, what did you think of the photograph that Aunt Spring presented to Stig of him with his arm wrapped around a woman at the pool who was wearing a bikini, I believe, and kissing her cheek? Innocent or
Well,
not?
I think it kind of looked innocent, like, he could have spun it as innocent because it's not like they were making out. He was doing, like, an extended pushing his lips out pretty far to touch her cheek, and if it was just that, maybe, but then you add on the text messages and the fact that Corinth, I think is her
Hmm.
name, the
Hmm.
fact that she knows this woman personally,
Hmm.
like, no.
Okay.
I mean, good luck spinning this, but I mean, Aviva's probably going to accept it anyway. What were your thoughts?
Yes. Yes, I have the feeling that Aviva will also just sweep it under the carpet and ignore the red flag that this is. Okay, so as far as the photograph goes, I did not buy it that it could be innocent because I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but if you do meet somebody who is somewhat famous or even very famous and you want to have a picture taken with them, I have never, maybe I'm an innocent, heard of somebody saying, okay, pretend to be kissing me on the cheek and then we'll take the picture. And the celebrity goes, yeah, sure. That's totally fine with me. I don't mind because I'm a man and you're a woman and this could look like we're in a relationship. I'm okay with that. You can sell it to a newspaper or put it online and it would look like we're involved in a relationship. I don't think that would ever happen. It's too risky.
That's that's a very fair point. I mean, I'm not saying that I've met a ton of famous people, but now that you bring it up, I think the closest that I've gotten to doing any of that was when the lead singer of a band came up behind me and he said my name. And that's only because my friend told him to, because he had the most delicious velvety voice and I wanted to hear him say my name. But
That's
like
awesome.
an actual kiss, yeah, okay, that's yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
that's why I said maybe, but probably not.
yeah, I think that especially somebody like him who and we know that this picture was taken just a couple of weeks ago, who
Yeah.
is involved, theoretically involved in a monogamous relationship with a woman who is about to come to Belize to see you, and you're okay with taking this quote unquote fake photograph with a woman where in which you pretend to kiss her. I no, I'm sorry.
But
I
she's a super fan.
Yeah, that excuse was just so lame.
Not just
So
lame, but
lame.
just so cocky. Like, do you have levels of fans? Do they have to pay to become like a silver, gold, platinum member and you have to treat them differently depending on which level they are? Like,
Yeah.
this
The
guy's
thing that I
ego is insane.
Yes, the thing that I found a little bit more suspicious in terms of the reliability of this so-called evidence were the text messages, because unless you have a phone number that's displayed so that you can verify that this is actually the person who sent it, because I think the the name was just that guy or him or something like that, so that like at the top where it says who you're speaking to, if it was his phone number, well, that what else could be more obvious? Yes, you are cheating because you're sending text messages that say I'll love you forever. But if you're using a pseudonym as the person's identity that you're speaking to on text, then how do you know that it was really him?
I don't have enough brain power to be able to walk through that. Because my
Fair.
first thought was spoofing, or it
Yeah.
could be an app where you have to go into the contact to see the phone number.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think we'll find that out
Yeah.
at some point.
And also his body language when Spring was presenting him with this evidence, the arms crossed across the chest, the standing back, the kind of smirking. I didn't like it. It didn't point towards truthfulness for me.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not a lie detector, so I don't know. This is just the way that he presented himself and how I interpreted it. I agreed with Spring that if it's only a fan, why are you attempting to kiss her? This is too intimate for a fan who wants to take a picture with you. So his defensiveness was suspicious for me. And when he went back to the hotel and started explaining it to Aviva, he was really smiling a lot, which to me said, lie, lie, lie. And also, there was a very frequent use of the word apparently, like I apparently did this or I apparently am doing that. No, don't like that.
And in the little confessional thing, he was saying that he thinks that Spring is projecting onto him. So he like it was all about deflection and, everything is a joke. Like this is hilarious because this never happened. I would never do this.
Hmm.
I was kind of surprised that she seemed so upset about it. And she's like, no, that's not how it's gonna go tonight. We're not gonna do this. And he was like, but I didn't do anything. Well, what do you mean? Anyway, I
Yeah.
got scared just folding.
This reminded me a lot of the episode a few weeks ago when Laura was pressed up against a wall when Birkon didn't want to talk about something, and so he used sex as a distraction. This was exactly the same situation for me, where
Yes.
he thinks that if he just becomes intimate with her, that she'll forgive and forget, and it'll be done. And the power of the penis. Ew.
Remember?
Ugh. Yes, his masculine
Forward.
energy will defeat her and turn her into sludge, so therefore she won't come after him anymore. So that to me is also a bit of a telltale for the guilt, especially in light of the fact that just earlier on that day they had that conversation where he said, maybe we're going too fast, maybe we should slow things down, maybe we should start using protection when we have sex. So it's it's compounding itself. It's getting worse and worse.
And then did you catch him saying that they should have a threesome?
Again, making light of the situation, making a joke of it when it's absolutely serious and very important to her to find out the truth. Yeah, more
Yeah.
deflection.
Disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
You get found to be doing some things that are untoward and you make this kind of disgusting suggestion.
It was a
Awful.
gross joke.
Never.
Really, really gross. I did not appreciate that at all.
Yeah.
Shall we read on
Okay.
to Forrest and Sheena next? Yay. They go to a mall. Forrest is super, super excited for this Vegas style mall thing, fake Venice. I really wanted them to go back to more actual Philippine tourist attractions, something like they did before, where there's real history and culture to absorb rather than this fake ass fantasy theme park land.
Venice. Fake Venice.
Fake Venice, like truly fake Venice. Venice interpreted through the eyes of a 6-year-old who's only ever known, what, Walt Disney?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like with all the fake flowers and I don't know, just like the tone of the colors just seemed so off and not. I mean, I haven't been to Venice, but you had, but to me it was more almost Portugal-esque with the colors than it was truly reflective of
Hmm.
Venice. But again, I haven't been. They just
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
looks nothing like Venice. Nothing.
It was too colorful. It was too
Hmm.
over the top. It was fake, obviously.
Very. And the costume that they dress up in, although I guess it's fun, just utterly silly, has nothing to do with Venice. And I really didn't understand any of this stuff. It's so weird the way you're in the Philippines and yet you're experiencing what is supposed to be an Italian culture, but it's expressed in a way that is completely non Italian, non authentic, non Filipino, and somehow other. Ugh. Anyways,
I thought it was fun. I like I'm glad that they, got out away
yeah.
from his parents so that they got to have some alone time.
Hmm.
Um, they really do seem to have a lot of fun together so that
Yep.
I mean, it could have been fun had it not gone back to the whole, Sheena's lying and, now she's talking about her ex-boyfriend who cheated on her and
Hmm.
used her for her money. but they were together for 3 years. She's been with Forrest for 7.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that there's no way that she brought this up
Yes, I know. Again,
with the bullshit.
we're meant to be idiots as audience members to buy the fact that in 7 years you have not discussed this once at least. So their conversation is as fake as the environment in which they're standing when they have that talk. And then proposing on this bridge full of fake wisteria. I don't like the fake stuff. They did. They were having a grand old time, as you said. And that part was enjoyable. What did you think of the proposal scene?
Well, I didn't believe that he'd had that ring for 6 years, for one. I find it difficult to have an opinion because I feel like with this one, like, we were so looking forward to seeing them at first, and then just seeing everything else that's come up about it, like, I'm so done with them. So I just
Okay.
don't
Yeah.
care. What was your thought?
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling a little bit the same. I don't like the fact that production and Forrest and his family have been lying to us from the start about many, many things, like his abilities, the fact that he's traveled to Philippines before, the kind of stage of the relationship that he and Sheena are actually at versus what they're trying to portray on television. It all is getting to be a bit too much. I would much have preferred if they were honest from the get-go and told us everything as it actually is. I think that would have been better. And then the vilifying Sheena all the time. She's the liar. And Molly being such an extreme of a horrible, toxic mother, the presence that is always lurking in the shadows. That is also getting a bit tired for me. I want them to change the tone of Sheena and Forrest's relationship and give us something slightly different. But I think that they're kind of stuck in this track and they're not going to deviate from it at all. So we get this proposal scene. She accepts. They are both, which is absolutely adorable, giddy with love and excitement. They're so happy. They're just filled with joy. And they go back to tell Molly and Dev their wonderful news.
That look that Molly gave Dev during that silence, he wasn't even looking at her, but the look that she gave him was like, "Can you effing believe this shit?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go." I think her explosion was a bit much. And then her saying, like, "Why am I even in this country? Well, you were the one that pushed for it."
She said a lot of things that, first of all, a mother should never say to her child. A mother should never say to her prospective son or daughter-in-law. Her cruelty was rampant. I have never seen anything like it. She was vicious. It
Mhm.
wasn't just insulting Forrest and Sheena and their intelligence and their relationship and their love for one another. It was incredibly insensitive. And she said these things that were so horrific, so difficult for me to hear as a viewer. I can only imagine how hard it was for Forrest and Sheena to hear those things. My conclusion, this is my last note for Forrest and Sheena's segment, was Molly is the worst mother.
Okay. My last one was, "It's not all about you."
Accurate. I can't begin to fathom ever saying to somebody, let alone my own son, you've just ruined your life. That is
And then
despicable behavior.
for Sheena to pipe up and be like, "We made this decision together. We're we're adults." And she's like, "I don't want to hear from you. This is about Forrest. This isn't about you." Ma'am,
Mhm.
stop it.
So at this point, I would not be sad if Forrest decided to stay in the Philippines and just put Molly back on a plane and said, "See ya." He can keep Dev there. Dev doesn't seem to do any harm to anybody.
Oh, it
But
just seems chill.
yeah. Shall we read on?
All right.
This is our brand new couple, Elise, 32, from Florida, and her beloved, Joshua, 39, from Australia.
I was floored when I found out that she was 32.
Because
She looks at least 10 years older than that.
that would be the lovely Botox.
Yeah. And when we first see her, they have this beautiful side profile, and you can see the migration of the filler in her lips.
Oh, they looked like they'd just been filled. They were so red, like you could almost see
Mhm.
injection sites.
But now it's starting to get like almost beak-like with the amount of filler that she's had. God, okay.
Anyway, aside from her physical appearance, what did you think?
She seems very diluted, very naive. I found out that she was on one of the other shows.
Oh, really? Which one?
I want to, was it The Last Resort? It was when they all went to Mexico and
Oh. That one where
because
they kind of it was Love Island, but 90 Day Fiancé style, where they
I
had the
think so.
singles?
That one, yeah.
Yes. I can't remember what that's called either because I did not
Well,
watch it.
we did not watch that for reasons, but I was
Mhm.
like, "Is that Rob in the background?" It's like from Rob and Sophie,
Yeah.
and apparently it was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she's
Good
already been
information.
on one of the 90-day shows.
Mhm.
It was just so strange for, like, to see. Ha Okay, well, I've never seen your face before, but I've seen that face before. To my knowledge, Rob hasn't been on any other shows, so where does that fit in? So I had to do some digging.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Interesting.
apparently she's been engaged 3 times. She's been
Yes.
proposed to 5 times, but
And
engaged 3.
yes, which begs the question, why did you never make it to the altar? What happened?
If
Was it
Lisa
you?
can get married 5 times, how can you not make one of your 5 work?
Mhm. There is much to unpack here,
Pithy.
including okay, so she's talking about her ex, Carlo, and they have footage of Elise and Carlo in the bed having a discussion together where he's saying that he wants to go back to his ex, filmed in what seems to be the 90 Day Fiancé footage. So, did they originally track Elise with Carlo since he's Mexican? But then, because the relationship exploded, she then scurried away to find somebody else to be her 90 Day Fiancé film buddy. And so she landed on Joshua. And this is her second attempt. Because otherwise, how do they have that footage?
Because it was from the other show.
But what?
Yeah, I think she ended up hooking up with that guy while on the other show, the one
No.
where she was with, like, Rob was in the background, whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's what it was. So it didn't work out for her, but she's doing her absolute darndest to get more TV time. So I think that's why she found the other
Aha.
guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense to me. I just found it really, really odd. And then I was questioning the timeline of everything because if they've got this footage, she was with this other guy, Carlo, and yet now she's with Australian Joshua. How does that all fit together? It's astonishing the speed at which she pivoted from one guy to the next. We don't find out until we see a preview for next week that this guy, Joshua, says that they've been talking online for 6 months. So that gives you a little bit of an idea, which kind of fits in with most of the other couples, except, of course, for Forrest and Sheena,
Yeah.
because they all seem to have this about 6-month framework for their relationship blossoming into something where they finally decide they have to meet in person. Did you see any other red flags in this segment with Elise?
I mean, I saw a lot, but I just had to pull it up because that was really bothering me. She was on Hunt for Love. Yeah. So she talks about his looks a lot, and there was really not much else to go on. I think she said he was adventurous.
Carlo?
Okay. No, then Josh.
Okay, I'm
Are
getting
you still
confused.
talking about Sorry.
No, so was Carlo on Hunt for Love as well? Is that the footage that we're seeing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yes, so the things that disturbed me were when the parents said, "We have bailed out Elise for a lot of things." Bailed out, interesting choice of words. I'm not suggesting that she was in jail, but bailed out, which kind of infers an amount of money that they've had to pay, and a lot of things, which is an interesting choice of words as well. I want the parents to tell us more. Unfortunately, they don't.
Well, they also said that she was the wild child,
Hmm.
which I thought was quite interesting. But then she brings up how her ex stole her identity and took out a credit card and ran up a $500,000 bill.
Awful.
So, first of all, what kind of credit card was that? That you have that kind of limit? What is your credit like that you would be able to get some sort of a limit like that?
Mhm.
And if he really stole your identity, why didn't you file a police report, sue him for the 500,000? Like, there was nothing about that, so I think that's what her dad was alluding to with the money.
Agreed. I think that was one of the
One of the
lot.
many.
One of the many things, one of the lot of things that they have bailed her out for.
Yeah. Oh, her dad came out with, I think it was my favorite comment of the show. So, or in this episode, when she says that she's going to Australia, he said, and I quote, "Welcome to what the fuck."
He had a very dry sense of humor. I did enjoy Dad quite a bit.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So the only information that we have about their relationship is that it's about 6 months old, which, as I said, is information we get next week. But Joshua and Elise met via him sliding into her DMs.
Classic.
Classic move. Okay. And I guess her friends know about this because it wasn't one of those reveals where when she gets together with her girlfriends, they're like, "Oh, shock horror. Who is this man? Why haven't you told us about him?" They did seem informed. However, there's information that they get during this meeting that is also a bit concerning. For instance, Joshua lives with his parents and he doesn't even have enough money to get an apartment on his own. If he had to get an apartment on his own, he'd have to share it with at least one other roommate. And he is 39 years old. He has a child of 12
Hey,
years.
okay. Yes. Can't afford a rental. And, when she booked her ticket, she was like, send me a video of your apartment. I want to see what I'm walking into. And he's like, he's dodging it, dodging it. And then he comes out with, oh yeah, by the way, I live with my parents. So it's not one of those closet mom situations where it's like, oh, surprise. So at least he told her ahead of time, but also, what else are you hiding? And she brings up that he sent her a text the night before that really concerned her, and she doesn't want to tell her friends because they're going to tell her not to go. So, thanks for that cliffhanger.
Mhm.
Do you have
As
any idea what
always,
that could be?
he's actually a mouse and her cat is going to eat him. I don't know.
Did you catch that she said she had 2 cats and therefore
Yeah.
she's not a crazy cat lady, but we only saw the one?
Yes. And I mean, that's perfectly natural. One may be extremely shy, and there's a bunch of strangers in the house filming. So, yeah, cat's probably hiding under the bed somewhere. I don't think Crazy Cat Lady starts at 2. I don't think it starts at 3 or 4 or 5. I think a Crazy Cat Lady starts around double digits,
I don't know about that.
in my humble opinion as an owner of 5 cats.
When I tell people I have cats, they're like, "Oh my god, how many cats do you have?" I'm like, "I have 2." They're like, "Oh, thank God you don't have 3." Apparently, that's the consensus
That's
of
the
crazy.
threshold for Crazy Cat Lady? That's very
Mhm.
low bar. That's very, very low.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's bring it up a little bit. 15? Yes.
You have an entire family, though, and technically, some of the cats
Yes,
aren't yours,
it's
but
like
they're also yours.
1.25 cats per human, which is well below the 3 threshold for crazy
Mhm.
cat people. And why are crazy cat people always ladies? Why aren't they men? Where's the crazy cat guys?
Well, I think crazy cat lady just comes from the fact that, if you have 3 cats, you're likely to be single.
Which is
So,
wonderful.
yes. I can agree to that. I don't know. I think it's just, a way for people to run with the narrative that, if you're a crazy woman, you're gonna have cats, and that's
Okay.
a red flag.
All
Anyway,
right.
I felt cheated. I wanted to see the other cat and, how she
Me
was
too.
with the other cat.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I think her discussion of the trans cat was amusing. I didn't have
Yeah.
any issue with that. My parents have a cat who is a male but looks female. It's just a thing. And so we interchange the pronouns he, she all the time when we're talking about this cat. So I completely understand. There are some concerns that I have though that she is a crazy lady, not necessarily cat crazy lady. And I think that will be interesting to see develop over the next few weeks.
I agree. I feel like I was picking up on that as well. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Okay. Let's read on to Laura and Beercon, the final couple for this week's episode.
Ah,
She
the
requests
delusion.
she requests 30 minutes by herself. She has to request this so that
Ask
she can
permission.
go, yeah, she can go talk to Michael, which of course she doesn't mention. She just says, I need 30 minutes to make a phone call. And he's more than happy to go away into his shisha bars. Of course. Great.
That she makes a joke about, "What are you gonna do for 30 minutes? Find some shisha? Ha ha ha." But before it was like, "Why do you know everyone here?" And now you're encouraging him to go?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
great. What did you think of her phone call with Michael? Good, bad?
Well, again, I think she's, completely and utterly delusional because she does say that he's intentional, he's thoughtful, he's sweet. She kept going on about the boat, and I loved that Michael really put her in her place, like, he was just spitting the truth. He's playing you. And she says that she doesn't feel cared for by people in her own life, and he makes her feel cared for. And I thought that that was a huge slap to Michael's face because he's the one who's on the phone with her.
Mhm.
He's been beside her, like he's been at her side for years, and she doesn't appreciate that. And then he says that Beer Con is running an incredible con game and says, "You need to come home because you are emotionally compromised." Like, this
That
man
wa
is so poignant, but he's also gentle in the way that he's delivering it, but it's also like, you can't see this.
I I agree with you that Michael is very, very accurate in his assessment of the situation. The use of the emotionally compromised language, that was perfect. Excellent diagnosis of what's actually happening. And then telling her, "Well, this is a con game and you're a victim and you're falling for it and you need to come home." Great advice. I love the way that he was asking permission to come to Turkey to meet BeerCon so he can make a more informed assessment of what's happening and help her along in her journey rather than just saying, "Oh, I'm coming out there, I'm going to take over and I'm the man." It's like that is so thoughtful. That is true thoughtfulness, not as Michael mentioned. Well, he just takes you out on a boat once and you think that he's God's gift and he's the most generous man and most thoughtful person in the world. No, get real, lady. What's thoughtful is the person who's looking out for you and who wants to help you at all costs and who asks permission to be allowed to do this by you. Just delightful man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
really
I
like
think
Michael.
that him asking for permission is really
Mhm.
like, it's so respectful and, it gives her that space to make that decision. And then she pipes up with, "Well, I'm gonna have to talk to Bir Khan about that." Okay, you really think that he's gonna be okay with that when he's already told you that you can't talk to him anymore?
And this is the other thing. We have such a contrast between Beer Khan and Michael, where Michael is asking permission to come and help you, and Beer Khan lays down the law and says, "You cannot be friends with this person," emotionally blackmailing you to the extent where he says, "If you continue this friendship, our relationship is finished and I'm out." That's the contrast that she has, and she can't even see the difference. She can't know that beer con, emotional blackmail, bad. Michael asking permission, treating you like an equal, wanting to help you, good. What? Obviously, Michael has not been provided with this information that BeerCon has given her an ultimatum saying, lose your friend Michael or lose me. He doesn't know that. And if he did, well, anyway, I'm not sure that any of this would be received by Laura because she is so smitten. She is so deep into the con. How could you not be completely fooled by somebody when you're faced with the bold faced fact that they are a gambler and they are completely addicted and in debt? And yet you think, oh, it's okay. We'll keep going because he's so sweet. He took me on a boat.
And who paid for that boat?
She did probably. No, he said he did because he had all the big money from gambling.
And yet still has $50,000 in debt, if it's only 50,000.
Questionable.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if, he ran into one of the people that he's indebted to and they just went and broke his legs right in front of Laura. Would that speak to her? Probably not. She'd probably just
Oh,
stay to nurse him back to health.
yeah.
What is it gonna take for this woman to see how clearly, for lack of a better word, just shitty this man is?
That remains to be seen. I don't know. That is all the notes I have for this week. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Forrest and Sheena, I love the fact that they were sitting around eating the fresh fruit, and Sheena was
Yeah.
teaching them about it.
Mm,
But it looked so fresh and juicy, and I really wanted to have a bite. And I think that's really all the food that we saw for this week.
hmm Yeah. Okay, shall we
Uh,
wrap it up?
yeah, that was my last thought.
Okay, sounds good. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. If you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find our show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.